Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Monday Night Live. I'm Steve Leahy. Sorry, it's just an endless pile of tech stuff. I was on my channel and I noticed, oh, sorry. I didn't want to do that. That's what I want to, hold on, turn that off. There we go. Sorry. See what I mean? Tech stuff. That's fun. Yeah, it was weird. I got an announcement that I was live and I wasn't. So I didn't know if I pushed something wrong, but I thought I'd try that the right way. So welcome, everyone. Hello, honey. Hello, Brian Moore, Robert O'Malley, Kyle Shees, Ian Hart, Auntie Paula. What is up? So first off, we're going to jump right into the things. So we'll get things rolling so I can get this painting started. I want to give out a huge thank you to Brian Moore, to Rhea and Honey last week. Gave super thanks, and it has been a wild week, and all that certainly helped. To all those lovely people that bought paintings as well, means the world to me. My car was in again today, so that's twice in a week, but everything looks good now. So yeah, thank you. It was crazy, but yeah. That's it. Yeah, so the only thing I really wanted to mention was if you are still interested in it, the Chevelle painting is still on the site. If you would like an amazing deal on an Open Studio painting, we did this one on Open Studio, so actually every single second of it is documented. So you can not only have the actual painting, but you can also brag to your friends and show them how it was done throughout every second. So that's a Chevelle painting, and that's on the site right now. And yeah, obviously that's all framed and ready to go. All right, that's all I got. So we're going to look at I have three new paintings tonight. We're going to look at those. Hello, Rhea. Hello, Abby. What's up? Yeah, buddy. There's Mr. Patrick. Pat, thank you so much for the shout out on the video today. If you're not following Western Massacre Lock Sport, our buddy Cheese Grits and NyQuil, do that. He's getting me into a new hobby, and I can't wait. So I'll fill you guys in on that. There'll be a video on this channel, but it'll be separate. So anyway, thank you so much, Patrick. I know it's coming. That's awesome. Yeah, so I have three paintings for today because it was crazy, and we're gonna get right to it. All right, cool. I'm gonna switch to this one, and I'll continue to say hi. Swamp Picker, I know where you're from. You can tell by the name. Welcome, buddy. Yeah, awesome. Randy, what's going on? Yay, Angus Watt, there's a name. Angus, how are you doing? That's awesome, buddy. Welcome. All right, so let's look at these three. I put my tablet over here because I just want to be ready to jump right into tonight's painting festivities. So ignore that because I only have three to go. So tonight's three. The first one is from Brandon Nagel. Brandon made a suggestion last week, so there are two people on the list to win paintings tonight, Brandon and Todd. So Brandon has the first one. Brandon asked for a vintage BMX bike. That's fun. I never did one of these, so I wish I had one as a kid. Dad would always bring us to the dump, and we would pick out old bikes that people threw away, and my dad was an amazing mechanic, just engineer type guy. So we would then spend the better part of the summer stripping it all down, painting it, going nuts. So, I mean, I'm happy that I only got one brand new bike, but that's not the story you're here to hear. Skip has started BMX products in 1974, and at their largest point, they only had 85 employees, but they were still producing about 600 BMX frames per day. The Mongoose was then sold to American Group in 1985 and then went on to be owned by Bell in 1995. The BMX, which stands for Bicycle Motocross, is basically the designation for all these racing and little stunt riding bikes. So they have been a staple. So this is my little Mongoose, and I called that, you guessed it, Mongoose. So good job, Brandon. That's that one. If you are new here, hey Todd, what's up? If you're new here, welcome. If you would like to win one of these or any of the other ones on my site, because you get your choice, all you can do is make a suggestion for one of these paintings. Whether I do it or not, you're automatically entered, and then I draw a random name the following week, and that's it. You win. So if I draw your name, you win. It's pretty easy. You don't even have to be here. You just have to check back to see if you won, because I announce it the next day. All right, next up is by Mr. Todd Grigsby. Todd last week asked for a bomber, the front end of a bomber, B-25 Mitchell, the World War II bomber. So this is what I got. I was super happy with this one. I want to keep this one, but I will not. It'll go to whoever would like it. And of course, this B-25 is called Miss What Could Go Wrong. Probably not something you want to put on your bomber, but we did it. So the Mitchell B-25 was first kind of brought on the drawing table in 1939. The U.S. Army Air Corps needed a medium to light duty bomber, and they still need something to carry a decent payload. So North American won the bid and began producing the B-25, which became one of the most popular bombers or prolific bombers in World War II. It served in every theater, and they made about 9,800 of them. And of course, this particular plane, not this particular plane, but the B-25 was famous in the Battle of Midway, and it was launched, or before the Battle of Midway, it was launched with Doolittle's Raiders, and they actually launched this bomber off of aircraft carriers, which was insane. So these bombers flew out to Tokyo when Tokyo was designed or thought to be invasion proof, and they dropped a few bombs, and it shook up the Japanese during World War II to know that the Allies could reach them. So it was pivotal. But there's my B-25. So there you go. And that one's called Mitchell. There we go. Dan Mayer, what's up, buddy? Mitchell, yeah, Mitchell. What I should have done, which I didn't do, is I didn't look up who the plane was named after. So if anyone knows, you can throw it in the comments. That would be fantastic. And I will do that after. Finally, Ryan Joe Baggy last week asked for a Predator. Now, I've done a Predator before, but I had an idea for one, so I wanted to pull this off. And if you are a member here, you've seen the time-lapse for this because I got it done early. And if you're not a member here, you can check out the time-lapse for this tomorrow so you can see how I painted this guy. And this is my Terminator. No, my Predator, the other guy. Same actor, just different movie. So of course, this is the scene from Predator, the 1987 film with Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is after the Predator falls out of the water and he's having problems with his cloak. So it was a lot of fun to do this. Thank you, honey. You're awesome. Yeah, so that's how this one came out. I had a lot of fun with them. This one's a 543C, which means I did color in this one, which I usually don't do, or I try to not anyway. The Green Bay Packers first Super Bowl championship, because I just remember the Green Bay Packers, what was it, 87? Pat, when they beat the Patriots. Not that the Patriots really had any business being there, but yeah, that's what I remember. Hello, Steve. What's up, buddy? Hey, Kyle. What's going on? So I called this one If It Bleeds. So that's, of course, the famous Arnold Schwarzenegger line. If it bleeds, we can kill it. So there you go. So there are your three. So if you win tonight, congratulations, Todd or Brandon. You may choose one of these, or you can choose any one on the site, which is StephenLeahy.com. You go to town and pick one out. If the winner doesn't want one of these, or even if they do, anything that's left over goes on the site, and it'll be immediately available right after the website. So if you see one you like, all the 543s that I do for the live feed for each week, they're automatically 50% off. So you always get a good deal on those, and they stay 50% off too. So if you commission one of these, they are full price, to give you an idea. So you're getting a good deal no matter what. Did it freeze again? No, I'm still good. So this is that, Brian. Hopefully that's not a permanent thing. Michael McClung, what's up, buddy? Michael, your latest painting came out great. It was fun to watch. Excuse me. Michael has his YouTube channel too, so check him out. He's usually live on the weekends, and a lot of fun hanging out with him. All right, so let's get to it. So here's what we're going to do as soon as I find it. So here is our painting for tonight. This isn't our painting for tonight, but this is what we're doing tonight. And this is an ampersand clayboard panel. And this is a 3.5 by 3.5 panel. And I thought it would be fun to do this little cherry. So I've obviously already painted one for you. And we're going to do this exact same painting tonight from start to finish. So we'll get it all done. It took me about an hour and a half to pull it off. And I've already got all the templates cut too for it, so it should be pretty quick. We're going to take bids on this one tonight. So if you'd like this one, feel free. Whatever it goes for. But here's the deal. By the end of this, I'm going to have 2. So whoever wins the bid, that will determine the price for the other one. Get it? So if the winner is whatever, if someone else wants the other one right away and wants to, do the same amount for that, then it's all set. If not, then it goes up on the site for that amount. So that's, I figured, the quickest way to do that. So I'm going to try to keep track. Wayne, what's up, buddy? Rick Lotta, what's happening? I'm going to try to keep track. I have a little piece of paper here. Hopefully that'll work. If not, I'm sure, you guys will help me out. And I will certainly go through the feed to make sure the last bid is, the highest bid is the one that gets it. Cool. All right, good, Brian. That's good to hear. All right, so we're good, right? We can start? Yeah. So, all right, here's what we're working on. I'll bring this out throughout the night to show you stuff. But we're just going to get into it. So, I got to find all my cutouts, which I put in the back. There they are. Oh, I don't need the Predator one. So same deal, I made a bunch of copies, but surprisingly there aren't that many copies that are used for this one, which is why I chose this one. I like painting cherries. One of my early on successful type paintings was a bunch of cherries, and that one was the one that got into the Society of Illustrators show in New York. So ever since then, I've had a fondness for doing this kind of thing. And in the airbrush world, going all the way back to the 80s, these shiny fruit tend to be a popular subject. So they just make sense, and they're a lot of fun. So that's what we're going to do. So I've got everything ready. Here is the ampersand panel. And I just stuck it onto my little 543 holder. And while you guys are hanging out there, I'm going to move the camera so that you guys get a much better view of this guy. The painting, if you win or purchase the other one, it will come unframed, but it's 3.5 by 3.5, so it'll easily fit into a square frame. And I would suggest if you're not comfortable framing it, just bring it to any place that frames, and they'll be able to kind of do it up. Yeah, buddy. All right. So first things first. I've already prepped this panel, so I sprayed it with Autoborn Sealer White and then sanded it. Again, I do that on these clayboard panels. I got water in my hand. I do this on the clayboard panels because they use a random orbital sander on these. And if you just spray airbrush on it, you can see all the little scratches from the random orbital sander. And if you don't know what that looks like, they're little tiny squiggles, just little tiny circles everywhere. It's supposed to be random and it's supposed to be orbital, but they do leave some sanding, especially if someone was kind of rushing through it. So there are a couple things you can do. I use the Autoborn Sealer because I can spray it a few times and then quickly hit it with 600 and then a little bit of Scotch-Brite and it's ready. Or you can sand the clayboard surface too, but it's not super terribly thick, so if you're aggressive with it, you can kind of burn through the clay, and I don't want to take that chance, so I don't. Hey, Patty. Kevin, what's going on? Yes, there you go. Kevin's got the right idea. If you have access to a 3D printer, that would be amazing. Yes, Ian, let's hear it. Oh, there we go. Swap's got an SU-15. I've never done one of those. That'll be a good one. Yeah, Ian, please give us updates on your lovely. That'd be great. And I'm just going to get started. All right. So first things first. The reason why I brought this out is because I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about underpainting, not underwear. Although you guys can talk about underwear if you want. Underpainting in a painting is basically just getting it started. So if you've ever noticed someone beginning art, and myself included, I always felt that when I was working on a painting, it would always feel really thin to me, you know, like see-through and transparent, but not in a good way, not in like a watercolor way. It would just seem like not finished. So a lot of that is, you know, you started with a white surface and you have to fight against this white surface. Now in this case, you have this bright, you know, red cherry. And it takes a lot of paint to get it to that. So what we want to do is we kind of want to start by taking the curse off it and putting like a base color on this. And this goes for everything that I do. So when I'm doing you've seen me do it a million times. When I do like a sky, I'll take the average color overall and spray that first and then add the dark fades and the light fades to it. The same thing with this cherry. Instead of starting with this dark color, I'm going to start with kind of like a lighter red color to kind of get the ball rolling essentially. All right, awesome. So I've got my little cutout. There's the cherry right there. And like I said, I've already done this painting, so I've got all these cut out, which is going to save a bunch of time, which is lovely. Again, this is ampersand panel, so the magnets don't really want to work through it, so we got to use jumbo magnets, but that's okay. So we just want to kind of get this. I don't know if I can get this to work. I could only get one to work earlier because it's a pretty big image, but that'll do it. All right, so I'm going to mix up a red. Ooh, there's brown in that. Oh, I'll need that. Okay, it'll work. So let's get some red going. So it's I'm going to use Pyro Red because it's very, you know, cherry red color. There's a little bit here that I mixed up earlier when I was painting, so I'm just going to start with that. And fear not, you guys, I will get you closer. So there you go. So I've got some red in here, but I want to kind of lighten that up a little bit by adding just a couple drops of white. Again, I want it a little bit lighter so that when I add red to the painting later, you'll be able to see it. It'll be able to kind of flesh it out in a way. So I added a couple drops of white, not too much because I don't want it super pink. The other thing I want to do too, because that is kind of pink, it's now shifting pink, I want to warm that up a little bit with a little bit of golden yellow. And this will make kind of an orangey tomato red, which is perfect. This will be a good under color. And again, what I'm looking for is something that will act as a base across the entire cherry. You know, the highlights go on top of this, the dark areas go on top of this. So I need something that'll just kind of be in the middle, you know, and then do the job for me. All right. And again, the goal is to kind of get this done fast for you guys. All right. If there are no bids on it, then they'll just, you know, the two of them will go on the website and that'll be it. I'll figure out something. All right. So Pyro Red, golden yellow, a little bit of white. So because this is not an adhesive template, actually I'll move the camera a little bit so you can see what I'm working on. And I will focus it. How about that too? Bonus. Just what you wanted. It's like I love it out of focus. It makes me feel like I've been drinking all night. Jeebus. All right. Am I not getting comments now? How am I getting comments over here and not over there? I'm missing all the comments. Sorry about that, guys. Kevin, hello. I think I said hi to Kevin. I saw Patty. Hello, Patricia. That's why I saw. Yeah, I'm not getting comments over here, but I'll figure it out. It's fine. Everything's fine. I said everything's fine. Here we go. So again, because this is an adhesive, I really want to kind of hit this light. I don't want to go nuts because I know I'm going to get paint underneath this copy. Ideally, this would have been Brian Moore's Frisket demo, which is what I was originally thinking, but I'm not going to get the Frisket in for a couple weeks because I'll be traveling and stuff. So I figured we'd just do this and then I'll come up with a different demo for the Frisket. Frisket is just clear, really clear, thin acetate with adhesive on the back. So the good news is about this, I just spray the whole thing. I'm not worried about shading. I'm not worried about shadows. This is just the base color. And this will ensure that that cherry, when it's done, is really like, well, looks like this. You know, it looks solid. You know what I mean? It's not like transparent. Yeah, what's going on here? I'm gonna, hold on, let me back out of my own feed here. See if I can get the comments to pop back up. Yeah, there they are. Oops. Okay, good. Now I got them all. Oh, I just saw that something happened with Ian's wife. They rescheduled it, Ian? There we go. Shit day went a day for operation to finish. Tell us 4 p.m. They run out of operating time. Oh, jeebus. Well, hopefully they can reschedule her fast and get that done. Now, I didn't reduce this at all, so even this bigger eclipse is having a bit of a challenge to get this paint to go through. It's a little bit thick for this brush right now. What happens is I have to really pull the trigger back far to kind of get the paint to flow. So that's fine if you're looking to cover, like get it this opaque really fast, which I am. But the scary part about that is when the paint has a hard time getting out of the airbrush, sometimes it comes out all at once, and that's bad. So you got to kind of be ready for that. It's the game you play, you know what I mean? The way to make it safe is to reduce it a little bit and mix it out so it flows better, but then it's more transparent and you have to put on more layers. So it depends on how impatient you are. Thank you, Patty, for the suggestion for the like button. I love that. So I kind of work on the edges and then use the airbrush in kind of this way. So I'm always spraying with the edge. If I go against the edge, if I'm spraying this edge here and I'm spraying this way, the paint goes right underneath. It just pushes the template up, even if I'm holding it down, which I will get some of that, but I'm going to show you how we fix that too. But there you go. There's my orangey cherry red. Brother Robert, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, either no paint or all the paint, Kevin. That's exactly it. But I really wanted to get this covered. Like that was the goal. There's no real finesse with this. So I didn't really want to reduce it and take too much time. But if you guys are working on this and you're finding, that this is happening, I would definitely suggest, reducing your paint a little bit and then putting on more layers. You have to take it slow because if it's really reduced and thin, now it'll really come out, and then you have the opposite problem. You got paint everywhere. So you just got to back off and, put layer upon layer until you get it to here. And it will get to here, even if it's transparent. Silver bells. Not quite yet, Patty. Can't do that yet. All right, we're going to leave this template here because we're just going to kind of use this to start shading. Yeah, why am I bouncing in and out? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Hang in there, though, because that signal's real strong on my end, so hopefully it's just a weird YouTube thing. Brian Moore, you're the man. Thank you so much, Brian. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, September wasn't the best of months. Other than my son's birthday last week, yeah. It was a tractor pull. All right, I'm cleaning this out now and get ready to do the next little bit. Okay, so the next part, actually, make sure that's dry. Yeah, Kevin, it's really the three best investments you can make are a decent airbrush, decent paint, and a decent compressor. I know that sounds, pretty obvious, and I also know, understand that it's not the cheapest hobby to get into when you're looking at the higher end stuff, but headaches are you just eliminate headaches when you have decent equipment. And that's true with anything, but especially with airbrushing because it can be so finicky, All right, so we're going to start with the shading now. So we've got this is the underpainting, basically. It's not the real color, if I show you both together. So here's the final. You see how dark and deep and nice that is, but this is like orangey. But if I didn't have this color underneath this, it'd be really hard for me to get this to this point. This would seem transparent and kind of, ethereal, I guess. So we don't want that. Next up is, what do I got in this? I got, that's way too much. So the next color that I need is the red again. Actually, let me destroying my sweatshirt here. Hold on. What's going on here? There we go. So I have, this is, this is, well, Pat can appreciate this, as you all can. If you've been around long enough, you know that I mix black with burnt umber, and this is wicked blumba. So if you want to be in New England, you got to call it blumba. So it's blumber. It's burnt umber and black, basically. So that's what's in this brush right now. And this is what's going to be used for the shading. So the reason why I just didn't add black to the red is because it ends up being a very kind of a charcoaly red color, which I don't really want. The little bit of burnt umber, which is a brown color. Let me see if I can show it to you. Well, that's it right there, even though that bottle's almost empty, but you get the idea. It's a brownish color, but it's like an orangey brown. And it just helps to make that black much more, you know, I don't know, organic, I guess. So we're going to take that. I got a little bit left in the brush from before, and I'm just going to add some red to it. Now, this might be way too much paint in here, but we're going to mess with it. Now, this stuff here, I just added the opaque red to it, the Pyro red. And these are all Wicked colors from Createx. This I have to reduce. If I try to spray this now, I'm going to have that same problem. I'm not going to have the ability to kind of do any kind of fades with it. So, because it's going to want to all come out at once or none at all. So I add a little bit of reducer or a lot of reducer to this because there's a bunch of paint in here. Let's see what we got. No, that worked out perfect. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's just a darker, like a real kind of a rusty brown, old, like deep rusty brown. The opaque colors from Createx, the new ones, are amazing. And I'm finding that they are now my standard palette. So again, for red, it's Wicked Opaque Pyro Red. These are the new opaques, and they say opaque on them, so you can tell. No, this one doesn't, sorry, but it says it on the label, even though it's hard to read because it's out of focus. But they even have now a Wicked Opaque Burnt Umber, so I can make an opaque blumber. I know, it's fantastic, right? Brian, it did. Thank you so much. And I did hit the like button on that. The love button. Thank you so much. Ria, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No, Brian, that's amazing. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Yeah, it means a ton to me. All right, so with this color now, it's again this rusty brown color. So this I can start kind of throwing in the shading. Again, I keep thinking, what is going on with that valve? Underpainting. So this isn't the final shading color. The final shading color is actually black by itself. So this, again, this just kind of lays down the bulk of it. So when I get to the black, I don't have to rely on black. I could shade this with black right now, but one, it wouldn't be red enough when I'm done. And two, it just kind of, you know, it would look thin and gross, and we don't want that, right? Tuesday is taco night, Michael. But you can have tacos on Monday, that's fine. Taco Monday, that's a thing, right? Actually, I could eat tacos every day. All right, so I'm going to start. The light from this is coming from the upper left. So the lower right of this is going to get most of the shading and the shadow. Now there is a reflection in this cherry because I want it to be kind of shiny. I'll show you how I do that in a second. But we're going to start by getting the overall shape of the cherry done. This guy doesn't have any secondary reflections like bouncing off the whatever it's on table. But certainly when you see people doing this stuff, you'll see like they'll put a little bit of a lighter edge on this side because the light bounces off the table and then reflects up onto the cherry. But for this guy, I'm going to try to keep it a little bit more simple and, you know, eliminate that. And the other thing I want to kind of do is add a little bit of shading right in the middle. All right, so that's it. Fun, right? Next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull this off and we're going to add the bigger reflection. So this looks pretty clean right now, right? So paint did get underneath that, and I'm going to show you. Can I show you right now? Not really. I will show you, but basically you'll see the overspray a lot better when I do this. So if I take the cutout for the cherry and I hold that in its place, it's kind of like an eclipse. You know, you can't see the edge of the sun until the eclipse happens. The same thing with the overspray. Can you see all that pink around the outside edge? So we're going to take care of that to sharpen this up, but we'll got to do that in a bit because we're going to be doing some more painting on this, and you know, I want to be able to just fix the background once. Sean, what's up, buddy? Yay. Awesome. Good night tonight. You guys are awesome. Thank you for hanging out. Okay, the reflection is next. So this is that cool reflection of like whatever the table is. So this really, like, this is where this illustration kind of gets pushed a little bit. You know, actual cherries, unless you wax them up or clear coat them, won't look like this. You know, they'll be much duller. You know, they won't show this. But this is where we can have some fun with it, and that's what I wanted to do. Like I said, this is more of like the old 80s illustrations, the super slick illustrations. Oh, that's a good one. Well, I don't know what to call you anymore. Patrick Cheese Grits Western Massacre Lock Sports, or Patrick Western Cheese Massacre Grits Lock Sport. Something like that. So here's my template for that. That goes in here. And these are just done on copier paper. So I just make photocopies of the reference photo. And that's pretty much it. Honeybid. Oh, honey, thank you. Honey. Honey is giving Gary Shees a run for his money on Leahy artwork. So the East Coast has almost all my paintings right now because of those two, and I appreciate that. So we'll put Honey down for 50. Awesome, thank you, Honey. And then so again, its twin will automatically be 50. So if you don't win, you can just bid what the high bidder wins, and you can take it away. Just let me know if you want it before the end of the feed, the second one, so that I won't put it up on the website. This one automatically won't go up because of Honey's bid, but the other one will, unless you know we hear different. Oh, Swamp, no, you don't have to. Actually, people who are doing that, every once in a while I'll add color to them. They are traditionally just black and white, these paintings. So you just do 543 and then. But sometimes when people have an idea where they think, you know, that one shot of color would add to it, they'll put a little C next to it. So we have a few little extra designations, and C is one of them. G is one of them, because sometimes, excuse me, get something stuck in my throat. Sometimes I do some with gold leaf. But no, you don't have to have an idea like that. If you do, that's great. But no, as long as it's in there. In fact, we've gotten pretty good at figuring out when people are making suggestions, even if they don't put the 543 in. So don't worry about that. All right, so there we go. So there's our central reflection. Oh, I've seen that at the fair, where they make the taco stuff right in the bags. That's crazy. I would need the large family size bag though, and I just want you to make tacos in that, and I'll just feed bag the whole thing. God, I love tacos. I love burritos too. I love all Mexican food. All right, so there you go. So there's the first part. Again, I want to show you these side by side as we go, because there's an ugly stage for every painting, and a lot of people give up when it's at the ugly stage, and so I just kind of want to show you that there is a long way to go. So when you get to this point, you're like, what is going on? It does get to this eventually, so you just got to hang with it. I know, you got to do the party size. Gold leaf bonsai tree. Yeah, so there you go. So Brian just got the bonsai tree that had gold leaf in it. Now, again, that's not how that thing usually works. That's artist discretion for me to do that. But if you have a suggestion like that, I will definitely entertain it. Do I have everything? Can I fix the background yet? Yeah. I just want to make sure I don't have too much big painting left to do on the inside before I fix the outside, because once you do the outside, you don't want to do it again. So I'll turn this upside down. grab my little cutout. I'm going to put a magnet on this without hopefully damaging the painting. There we go. Beauteous. Now, again, this is the other bonus of having sprayed this whole thing with Autoborn Sealer White, which I was looking for the bottle around here, but I just have the small bottle. But anyway, because I know what color this white is, I just put it in the airbrush again, sprayed, and it's done. If it was a clay board and I sprayed the white, you'd see the white because they're different. You know, the clay board is a little bit more yellow. Bobby, what's up? So I need an airbrush for this. So for this, I'm going to use the garbage, not garbage, my jumbo, I don't know, landfill crazy bulldozer airbrush. This is the Eclipse CS, but I've replaced all the guts, the needle and nozzle, with a 0.5 millimeter, the siphon feed head. So this little airbrush moves paint really, really well, especially thick paint. So it's good because the Autoborn Sealer is really thick. It's essentially a primer. So it's designed to work thick, so you need a brush that'll kind of move it. All right, so there you go. And this is already reduced. This is reduced 20% from the directions. And what I want to do is I just kind of want to work on this side. I don't have to necessarily worry about the bottom because the shadow is there. Actually, the magnet's not going to hold it down enough. So we're going to go and just hold it manually. And this is how our fingers end up covered. There we go. This is how we give ourselves manicures, by holding stuff down with our fingers. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just really lightly going around the edge. That one wasn't really light, but you get the idea. Hey Dan, if I didn't say hi to you, hello. Patty, that's a good suggestion too. The Black Rose is one of my favorite Irish bars in Boston. All right, so same deal here. I'm going off the template, just kind of spraying off this way. I don't want to go this way because I'll have exactly the opposite problem that I'm trying to fix on this. I'll just have white on the cherry, which I don't want. And when I get to that point where I can't really get around it, I'm just going to move it. But see how it like cleans up the edge really well? So, I mean, you could try to erase it, but you know, the paint sticks so well, it doesn't want to erase evenly. You know, you'll leave little streaks everywhere where it's just as easy to go over it. Put that on my visit list. Oh yeah, the black, well, see, the nice thing about the Black Rose is it's in Faneuil Hall in Boston, which is a huge, like, it's like a indoor-outdoor market. And it's right like in the heart of the place you want to be when you're doing all your sightseeing. So the Old North Church is right across the street, basically in the north end. The food in the north end is amazing. It's all the Italian food. And then you have the New England Aquarium right there. It's just a really cool place. So to add to that experience is the Black Rose, which I believe is still there. I mean, I haven't been in a few years, but it's pretty much a staple of that area. All right, so I'm going to run around the other side here. Same deal, just really lightly. And what's nice about this, I'm spraying out the overspray, the extra paint, so it doesn't take much to cover it. So I don't want to be super aggressive and, like I said, run into the same problem on the other side. And that's all it takes. Dry that off and you're ready to go. Yes, so please follow Bobby. DM, what's up? Yeah, that's clayboard that I am spraying on. But these, they come in so many different sizes. The smaller panels aren't stamped with the clayboard logo, but these are great. They come in like a small pack, and then they have all different sizes. Even small ones like razor blade size, which is great. Oh, nice, Patty. If I can get over there when you're there, that would be a blast. All right, so there we go. So that's fixed. So that's all we got to do with that. Oh, we are burning. This is great. Next up. What do I want to do next? Keep going with the shadows and stuff. All right, so now we get into like the smaller details. You guys at a good angle here. I'm gonna move you guys real quick, so you get a little bit more head-on angle. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's better. You're not like at some weird extreme angle. You also notice the overspray in the stem. I don't care about that because it's going to be painted green and you'll never see it. Yeah, yeah. All right, so basically I just made a bunch of templates that have, you know, the cutouts that I need. So this is another one of the dark areas. Just kind of line this up. This one I can use a magnet on because there's so little that's exposed. And these end up, if you've seen me do this, you know that these templates are, while they are templates, they're also more of just like a drawing guide. You know, I don't necessarily just, like you see this one's kind of still attached. So I don't spray the whole thing. I'm just using it to spray like near the stem. And this is what gives me that, you know, that fade. So I know where to go with the fade, but I don't necessarily have to use the whole thing. You know what I mean? So it's nice. Make sure that's focused again. Because if you look at that, what I just did there, that little detail, I mean, if you think about like cutting out a template for that, you know, where do you stop? You know what I mean? It's like this side just fades away. So when you see it actually in practice, it makes a lot more sense. You know what I mean? Like if you cut a really just a small triangle, then that would be super hard edge just like that. And that's not what I want. I want it to kind of fade around. So there you go. How do you make your templates? I should have, see, we got some new people here, so I didn't do this. But basically what I do is in Photoshop, I'll kind of set it up for the actual size. So I'll take my reference photo and scale it up or down depending on what I'm going to do with it. And then in this case, because it's a white panel and there's no background, I put little markers in the corners so I can see what I'm doing. But this is just regular heavy duty like premium copy paper. I want to say 28 pound, but I could be wrong. But whatever, you know, the highest thickness of copy paper you can get. And then I just use an X-Acto knife and cut out the bits and pieces that I want. So this is nice because it gives you custom templates, you know what I mean? And they're pretty easy to use. You can get a few uses out of them, like I'm doing here, but basically they're one and done for me. So, sorry, I'm just reading comments. Yeah, I could do another grain of rice, Brian. Now that, I mean, that painting, the skull on the grain of rice, I did back in 2011. So it'd be fun to see where I'm at. I know what I would do different. I just painted the rice, and being someone who didn't really pay too much attention to what rice is and that it's so dried out, it basically sucked up all the paint. It was insane, and it was a painful experience. But so I know what I would do now. But anyway, that's for another day. All right, what am I doing? So that's done. That's good. That's good. That's good. Bob. I'm buying a drink with that one, Bob. Gary, what's up, brother? Let's kind of get the shadow started. So here's a great example of that. So the shadow in this guy is really soft. And, you know, it's like not very hard edged. But I still want to be able to see where it's going to be. So now I could freehand that, but if I screw it up, it's out in the middle of this white area, and that's going to really suck a lot. So it's nice to have a guide, and that's what this little template is. It's a little oval that I cut out of the bottom. And again, it's just designed to be my guide, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Because I'm going to use like a super reduced black ultimately to paint that, but I got to know where it is. So I'm going to take that same brownish color, and I'm just really lightly gonna like really lightly, that's it. Now, you can't even see it, right? But if I pull that off, I have this really, I don't know if you still can see it. I mean, I can see it, but can you see just a very faint halo of that? So basically, I just drew that shadow in. And when I get to the black, I'll just be able to freehand it, and you'll see that. But it's a great way to kind of get things where you need to get them, you know? Father and son, 15 minutes of counting showtime. We are doing good stuff. See, that's exactly it, Kevin. You nailed it. So now the today Steve is going to spray the grain of rice with Autoborn sealer before he sprays all his fun stuff on it. That's what we're going to do. What I should do is I can't remember what airbrush I used for that. My guess is I would have used a Rich Pen, the 213, which is floating around here somewhere, for that grain of rice. So I should use the microns, or I should try it, or maybe I'll do two. I'll do one with the micron and then one with the shiny infinity once I get used to it. For those keeping track of the airbrushes that are flying through here, this is my super detail brush. What I did was I did my old trick with the sandpaper, just get a little bit of the glue dots, and then I cut a piece of sandpaper. This is like 100 grit sandpaper, and made it to the shape of the pad. And now I basically solved that. This has a really textured triangular groove cut in it that was painful for me because I have a heavy hand. So now that's much better. So I like that. All right, but again, that's not why you're here. Just paint something. All right. So I got that. That's good. That's good. No, we're not there yet, are we? Really? All right. All right. We are there. All right. So remember that originally this is like that orangey tomato red color. So now I need to put the red back into it to make it look cherry red. So I'm basically going to line this template up again. And this is where I was kind of hesitating with the white, because I've already fixed the outside edge. I don't want to have to, screw around with it. But I gotta get the red in there. So now I'm just going to use a straight up Pyro red. Yeah, Gary, I was just saying, Honey bid on this, and I was saying that Honey is giving you a run for your money on collected Leahy art. So yeah, I love it. So the East Coast has quite the collection floating around now. All right, so Pyro Red. This time I am going to reduce this a little bit. And again, I reduce this with the reducer that they recommend for this stuff, which is the 4021. But then I add a little bit of basically clear paint, which is 4050. And I know if you're not into this hard yet, a lot of these numbers aren't going to make sense. But trust me, the program is a little bit easier than it sounds. Once you get used to it, it's basically paint, clear paint, and reducer, and that's it. So, all right, so there we go. So there's my bright red. So with the bright red, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to concentrate on the shadowed areas, which is why, again, I'm not overly worried about the edges. And what this does is I'm just kind of spraying on the edge of the shadow that I just did. And what this does is this intensifies that red. Brings it back to what it should be, that deep cherry red. Again, now that I've got this reduced, I'm taking this much slower. Because not only do I want this to cover and make that red color, you can start to see it developing, but I also want to fade it. I don't want to just eliminate that orangey red, because that's going to, it adds complexity to the painting, it makes it look more real, and it gives it that solid, three-dimensional feel that sometimes is missing when you don't have, an underpainting. Drink a banana split. Yeah, Michael, yeah, absolutely. In fact, I have ice cream waiting for me for dinner, which is fantastic. So same thing on the other side. Again, I want to leave this middle kind of with that orangey red. And then a little bit on the top. Now this is where it gets dicey because, you know, anywhere near the edge. Kathy, thank you so much. God, you guys. I'm telling you, that really keeps things going. Really, really, really. I deeply, deeply appreciate that. Thank you so much. So the other thing that I'm stealing from Pat, from Western Lock Sport, is Mail Day. He has a blast opening mail on his channel, and I'm going to have a similar thing. I have a bunch of things that people have sent me that I've done videos on, but I've never really posted them. So I'm going to start out the first video with a bunch of stuff, and then what I'll do is monthly, I think, you know, as people send me little things, you know, paintings that amazing when they send me paintings that they've done. But even, you know, other things too that they find is cool. I'm going to have Mail Day, which will be fun. All right. Oh, Kathy. Kathy is Abby, right? Kathy? Thank you so much. Yeah, I hate to dox people, but since Kathy is Kathy now. There we go. And Kathy also airbrushes too. Or paints. Kathy, you'd have to, yeah. Fill everyone in too. All right, so there you go. So there's, now it starts to, let me grab the original, or not the original, but the first one. Actually, let me take the template off real quick. But now it's starting to get that, you know, that solid feel to it. So we still have a lot of shading to do in the highlights, which is kind of the cherry on top, as it were. But for now, we're good. So the next thing I'm going to do before I finish up the cherry, well, how much time do we have? 8 minutes? I'll keep working on the cherry. Ideally, what I should do is do the stem, underpaint the stem. So that's a lime green. But I'm going to just finish the cherry because they are really two separate things. If they were more connected, you know, if they were like interwoven in the painting, then I would kind of push everything at the same time. But these two items are so different, and they're so, you know, the hard-edged difference between them. I'll just finish the cherry. Let's do some of the highlights. Do we want to do the highlights? No. Let's do the black. All right. With the black. Oh, no, I don't got it. Again, this is straight up black. It's just black, but it's also, again, super reduced. Michael, that's funny. Also, I don't know. I know we have a couple of our Canadian friends on. If you are ordering stuff from me, whether it's a 543 or you won one, Canada's postal service is undergoing a strike right now. So to be safe, I'm going to hold on to your whatever it is, order, painting, just to be safe so it doesn't get kind of held up. And as soon as they're clear, I'll get everything rolling. So hopefully that works out fast, and everyone, both sides get what they want in that. All right, I'm going to drop that back on now. So I've got black, but this is opaque black, but it's really heavily reduced. So there's a lot of reducer in this, and I'm going to put my glove on. Yeah, and definitely, Patrick, it's going to start with yours. So, and like I said, I've got a really cool painting from Michael. Honey sent me a really cool drawing. There's a lot of stuff I have. Brian sent me a painting, and I've meant to like kind of show those off, but I'd like to be able to show them off in a video so that it's always on there. All right, black. This is the most dangerous color and the most dangerous point of the painting because it's so easy to go overboard with this. So I want to kind of, now you guys can't see the reference photo that I have, but I got a giant reference photo, which is like this. So I really want to keep an eye on that as I'm going, because I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to push this. Do I even need this thing? No, we're going to, what could go wrong? Normally I would leave this on here so we'll get a black on the background, but it makes that squealing noise. No one likes that. Oh no, Brian. All right, so here's the thing too. If you guys do not want me to show what you sent, I will check with all of you because, you know, I mean, sometimes, you know, Brian's been painting for a little while now, and when he sent me the painting that he sent me, you know, I know that was a little while ago, and I know he's been working hard on it. So yeah, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to do anything that will go against, you know, you guys either. So I'll double check, but that's great. But in the future, anyone who sends me stuff, I would love to show it off. So Enzo, what's up, brother? All right, so black. So what are you gonna do with the black now? Let's start to have some fun. So there's texture in this cherry, and this is a great way to start putting this in. And what I can do is now, again, because I've got the underpainting already done, the red and that kind of tomatoey red. Now I can put all these details on top of that, and it just adds to it. You know, like for instance, the shadow. These little divots, these little dimples, become part of that shadow. They're not just like, oh, I put the details in, and now, you know, now what do I do with it? They become part of the layers underneath, and that's really what kind of keeps everything cohesive and keeps everything together. Chris, what's up, brother? There we go. Yeah, exactly. And I always, I mean, I've done it before. I got to do it again. There was on a Tech Tuesday. Excuse me. And I showed some of my very first airbrush stuff way back, and it's terrible. It's horrible, you know, and that's fine. It's what happens, you know, when you first start, you know, anything. Skateboarding or riding a bike, you know, you're falling off it all the time. So it's the same thing, you know, it's just, we all suck in the beginning. So that is a mini soapbox for tonight. Don't ever, you know, if you can save some of that early stuff, do. Don't automatically say, oh, this stuff, you know, sucks, I hate it, I'm getting rid of it. Because there will be a point where it'd be great for you to look back and say, hey, look at where I've come, you know, look at how much I've done. And I certainly do that. You know, when I look at my old stuff, I'm like, okay, I can see problems that I was having, and, you know, I can remember the point where I kind of jumped in and figured it out, you know, and that's a great feeling, you know. So yeah, if you can save a few of them, but don't be too hard on yourself. All right, so this, all I'm doing is kind of just, I'll show you. It's tough to see on the red, but we like that way. But I'll show you on the white what I'm doing. It's easier to see. So all I'm doing is just kind of running around the cherry and stopping, you know, in intervals. And it creates this like kind of pitted pattern. Like that. So that's all I'm doing. And on Tuesday night, starting tomorrow night, your friend and mine, Nub, is back on Pinstripe Tuesday. I am going to be blasting through... Oh, I missed that. I'm going to be blasting through on my way back to New England this coming weekend for a wedding. Actually, you guys all know Keith Hansen. So Mr. Hansen is getting married this weekend, which is exciting. And so I'm going back for the wedding. I get to wear a tux, which is fun. But normally on my way back to New England, I could stop in and say hi to Nub. But this time the path takes me farther south because it's in Rhode Island. So I'm not going to be going by his place this time, but we've talked about doing something. So I will keep you guys in the loop if I can work it out and end up being in his area. All right, so this guy here too has got a little detail over here, which I can just kind of throw in, which is lovely. A little bit more of that texture. What would be really lovely is if I can't because it's almost showtime. I was going to say if I could get the cherry part of it done before the giveaway, but it's okay. We will get this whole thing done tonight. Yeah, I will definitely pass on all your well wishes. It's pretty exciting. So And then I'm sure at some point coming up I will be just in New England to kind of hang out, so that always means that we have a feed from Keith's shop, because it's always fun doing that. Showtime, let's do it. So the only thing we have left right now are the highlights, which is fun, and the shadow. So I'll leave this paint in the airbrush. We'll just be able to jump right back into it. I'm not even going to take anything off the board, because we'll do the giveaway and then we'll just jump right back into it. Oh, that's awesome. You got his gold leaf set? I have his gold leaf kit. That's what, yeah, I've been using a bunch of that. The other thing, Patrick, that I have to do after watching your channel now for a couple weeks or whatever, is I need stickers, and I need to do stuff like that so that I can send stickers out with stuff, because that's really cool that all the lock pickers have their own stickers and stuff. I really dig that. All right, there it's right in front of me. How convenient. All right, I'll show you these real quick again, and then Todd and Brandon are on the list. Todd is number 1, Brandon is number 2. So again, in reverse order, we have Ryan Joe Baggy's Predator, which is the time-lapse video for tonight or tomorrow. That's the Predator having a rough time. Todd's B25 Mitchell, which I had a good time doing. I don't know if I've done a B25 yet. I think I have. I can't remember. And then finally is Brandon's BMX bike. So that's the last one. I did a little mongoose bike. So there are your 3. So congratulations in advance to whoever wins. And if you gave me a 543 suggestion for this week, you are now on the list for next week too. See how easy it is? Super easy. All right, now I'll switch this over here. You notice that the winner is number 81. That's because I accidentally pushed the generate button before you guys got here, and I didn't want to jinx it by having someone's actual number on there, so that's why it says 81. But again, so you can see it, so you know I'm not lying to you. There we go. Todd's number 1, Brandon's number 2. Not that one. That's one. Ready? Go. 2, Brandon. Congratulations, Brandon. Oh, Todd. Oh, Todd. We'll get you a veining. Here's the deal. So the reason why there are only 2 people on the list is because if you win, you then are ineligible to win again for the rest of the calendar year. So I have a list of like 60 people. Wait, what are we on now? We're on week, I don't know what week we're on. But people have won every week, so a lot of people are off the list, which is why we're down to only 2. Last year, pretty much all the regulars, everyone who was on the feed during the year got a painting, and we still have 3 months to go. So have heart, all you folks that have not won yet. But congratulations, Brandon. If you're around, Brandon, I will post that you won. But if you want one of these and you're here tonight, Brandon, you may choose one of those or whatever. Like I said, if you don't not here to claim your win on the night, that's okay. You always have that win. You can contact me whenever and you can still grab it. So that's the other thing too. So it's not like you must be here every week. It's not like that. I would like it if you're here every week, but we are not tying your wrists. Raul, there's Raul. What's going on? Welcome, Kevin. There you go. So now, Kevin, you are a member here now, so you can actually go watch the time lapse right now. And you get a 10% discount on the entire website, which is fantastic. Thank you, sir. Welcome to What Could Go Wrong. Ton, I don't know Nub. Oh, Rhea, you're going to have a good time with Nub. Nub is a blast. So Nub's on YouTube. It's actually on Facebook tomorrow. But I was talking to him, and I think he's also going to make the YouTube change at some point. But for now, he's on Facebook. Just look up Nub Graphics, Grafix, and you can't miss him. He is for those who don't know him. Most people who are into motorcycles know him because he was on the show Orange County Choppers way back. He was the main painter, and so, yeah, most people know him from his TV days. But he is a hell of a guy, and his feed is fantastic. There There we go. Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Okay, let's finish this up. So highlights. This is always the fun part. We'll do the highlights real quick, and then we'll do the stem. Oh, no, actually, I wanted to do the shadow real quick because I have the stuff in the brush. Again, this is that super, super reduced black. And again, it's really hard to see, but it's there. But now all I got to do is just kind of, I'm going to put this up here so I can see it. I'm using my own painting for a reference. So now I could just kind of go in and freehand the shadow. And what's nice is I can see just the very faint halo of it, so I know where it's supposed to be, and that makes life a lot easier for me. And what I can do is, like, as it gets farther out here, I can be much more subtle with it, you know, give it a much softer edge, which is really fun. Mr. London Pen, what is up, Sean? Sean, I was just talking about Canada's postal strike. You guys can't get a break. Hopefully that resolves itself fast. So this shadow, notice I'm not really worried. I'm sorry, my head is in the way. I just realized that. I could see my gray hair everywhere. Notice I'm not really worried about getting black paint on the edge of the cherry, and that's because I don't have that secondary, you know, reflection on the bottom side of the cherry. So I could just run the black right into it. Raymond, what's up? Welcome. So, yeah, pretty straight ahead. The other thing I want to do on this, because this cherry is sitting on basically a white table, do I have it? I do. I still have the red in here in this brush. So I'm going to just give this little darker area, the heavy shadow, just a little shot of that red too. And that will give that reflection from the cherry onto the table a little bit. And just give it that, it'll ground it a little bit better. Oh, good. Yeah. Don't miss Nub. Nub is a blast. Vanessa, well, I should say he's not his new assistant. He's been there a while. Froderick is fantastic too. So it's the three of them doing it, and it's a blast. All right. So that's good. Now I can do the highlights, right? Sure. Why not? Do I have white in one of these brushes? Yes, I do, because I have... Do I? Wait, do I? No, I don't. Bummer. Am I done with this one? Yeah, I think I'm done. I'm done with this darker color now. So I'm going to dump that out and put white in the brush, because now I can do all the highlights. And this is what kind of pulls it all together. And then the stem happens super fast. So we're going to probably run till about 7:30, which is pretty standard around here. So far, I think Honey has a high bid. And then what I'll do is the other one will go up on the website for the same amount as whatever the final bid is, which at this rate is a great deal. So, but if you want it before I put it up, please let me know before the end of the feed if you want the other one. They'll come in a foam board folder, so they'll be nice and safe. And again, Alf. I didn't, Raul. I never did Alf. It's a good one, though. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding, Sean. I mean, it's crazy. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully that resolves itself fast. There's a little something right here. I'm hoping this little speck is just something random. So I'm going to try to get this off while I'm sitting here. Oh no, I don't know what this is. But whatever it is, it's on there. So we're going to have to paint over it. But that's fine too. All right, highlights. So the highlights work the same way. This template is kind of a goofy template. It's got some fun stuff going on with it. So it's designed to spray this side of it to give that little secondary reflection. So Just line that up, get that in the right spot. But it also takes care of the highlight on top of here too. Yeah. White. And this is now going to be opaque white, so I'm not going to use a sealer for this because the sealer doesn't spray very well. Especially for, you know, fades and things like that. It's not meant for that. It's meant to just cover. So so we're just going to give this right hand side just a little bit of something. And less is always more. You know, I'd rather be like, okay, you know, did I put too much on? Or I'd rather be like, do I need to add? Rather than, you know, oh my God, I put too much on, because that sucks. So in the next part here, I've got the top bit where I sprayed it dark is covered, and now all I need to do now is kind of cover the darker part. So I'm going to use one of Mr. McKay's pocket graphic templates here. The shred one has a lot of the same cutouts that just by default. So now I'm going to get the top edge of this guy. Like that. Roberto, have a good night. Bob, I keep seeing these Harleys for sale around here. Thankfully, I have no money, so, because, you know, it's going to happen. Okay, so now we just need the big highlights, which are somewhere around here. What did I do with them? Oh, here it is right here, right in front of me. So there's the big, you know, reflected highlight. Line this guy up here. And we're going to kind of use the white to solve another problem, which I'll show you in a second. So there's the stem, and you can see the overspray from the red on the stem. This white, while it's not sealer, it still is opaque. So if I hit this a couple times, I can actually remove the red that's there too. And that's nice because red and green are complementary colors. So when I sprayed over the green on that, if I didn't cover it all the way, the red would turn like this weird gray. Awesome. Now, the highlight here, this is pretty bold. You're going to have to listen to the squealing for a second. So I start with the middle. Again, if I was just doing like one highlight, you know, I could actually just do that and leave it. I wouldn't have to come out all the way to the edge, but for this one, I want to come out to the edge. But I still want the center of that to be the brightest. So I'll start by working on that. And once I get that to opacity, then I can do the whole thing. And this will give that highlight just kind of a halo. Now, one thing that happens with white on warm colors, and red is definitely one of those warm colors, is that it tends to turn blue. So we can fix that too. I don't have to in this case because it's an artificial light that's doing that, so it looks kind of cool. But if I wanted to kind of fix that, I just use a little bit of orange on that, and that would solve that problem. Actually, you know what? Let's do that. So I'm going to just make sure that the center of that is really nice and bright. I will take the infinity here. And for this, you guys have seen me do this a million times. This is just red oxide, and the same red oxide that I was using. And again, it's super reduced. It's really, really thin because it doesn't need to do anything other than just kind of shift that back from blue to white. And I know what you're thinking. If you're new here, you're like, well, you're spraying orange on here. How does that, you know, bring it back to white? If you put just a little bit on around the edge, what it does is that then it just cancels the blue, and then it looks white again. So that's it. The other stuff I'm not, well, maybe I will. See what you guys are doing to me? So I'm going to hit the other highlights just on the inside edge a little bit to kind of, you know, reduce that shifting too. But that's looking pretty good. Might as well just kind of do a little bit of paintbrush work. on the cherry, and then we'll do the stem all on its own. So I'm going to take some straight white now, and I'm going to put a little, oh, that's ugly. Yeah, he's on Brian. He does have a YouTube channel, but he goes live on his Facebook channel right now. Not right now, but tomorrow night. He hasn't switched over yet. And you'll see on Facebook he has a big following, so that's why. Oh, should be paying attention and not fucking around. He's got a big following on Facebook, so that's why he's going to stick with Facebook until he can kind of figure it out and bring people over to his YouTube channel. Again, it's the same deal, you know, for creators. It's unfortunate that Facebook has made the decision to delete all the live streams after whatever it is, 30 days. It just sucks because it's a lot of work to do this and to just have, and I understand, you know, that it's their platform, but again, you have people, you know, like Nub, who has a big following, and you know, I mean, Facebook is making money on that. Facebook is making money on people being there, you know. But whatever. Anyway, so there you go. So there's the cherry part of it. Now we'll just do the stem, and then we'll knock out the stripe on it because this painting has a red pinstripe around the outside edge too to kind of keep it going. Okay, same deal with the stem. It's really easy. There are two parts to this really. There's the brown bit at the top and then the green bit. So I'm going to use the magnet again, but this time I'm going to cover the highlight so I don't get any green on it because inevitably I will. What else do I need here? White. I'm going to use the white. So for the green, I have white in this brush already. I'm just going to add some moss green, which is kind of a, you know, limey green anyway. And I'm just going to put a drop of golden yellow in it. Now again, you know, if you've been around here, I use the same colors over and over again, and this is how, you know, how it kind of happens. You know what the colors are going to do, and you just become real comfortable with them. Like I look at this yellow and not know what to do with it. It's like a greenish yellow. You can see it in the how it's green right there. Like I mean, I do use it, but you know, I like golden yellow better. You know what I mean? Is this bad yellow? No. It's like you may find that this is your yellow, you know, because you like green yellow. I don't know. But that's usually how it works out. And, you know, if you're getting into it, it's great to look at what an artist is doing, especially if they do kind of what you want to do, and then find out what colors they generally use. That's a good starting point. But guaranteed, once you get into it, you're gonna come up with your own, you know, and it's not even like you have to try. You know, you'll just be like, I really like that brown, and that's it. That's it. That's how it works. Poco, what's up, brother? You're up late, right? So there's your lime green. This is going to be the stem. Again, this is the underpainting. There we go. I had white in the brush. Now, even though the top is brown, I'm not masking it off or anything. I'm not overly worried because the brown is gonna cover whatever green ends up on there. Raymond, what's up? There we go. All right, and the brown. Do I have any brushes left? I don't need red anymore, so we'll use this one. So for the brown, I'm just going to use straight up brown because it's a light, like chocolatey colored brown. Looks like this. Looks like Hershey's chocolate. All right, so I'll do a little bit of this. Again, I don't need very much. Ooh, I'm going to reduce it a little bit because browns don't really spray very well ever. There we go. We are coming down to the end too. This is great. All right. So for this, I am going to use a little bit of a mask. Do I have it here? No. So I'm going to have to wing it. Where's McKay's thing again? So I want a kind of a hard edge on this brown, this little brown bit. So I'm going to hopefully find a little edge of this that's going to work. Yeah, it's probably fine. And then once I get the edge on there, then I can just spray the rest of it. Like that. Okay. Cool. Now the details on that. I still have the black in the other brush, which is going to do most of the heavy lifting on this, which is nice. So the shadow on the back side of the stem. Actually, I'm going to move the magnet. Now there's not as much risk that I'll get anything on that. Tony, have a great night. So honey still, I think, has a high bid at 50. So we'll figure out what we're doing with that. And then, again, whatever the high bid is, that's what the other one will go for too. So I'm just painting the right-hand side of the stem now to put that shadow in. And then I can pretty much just freehand, actually, you know what I'll do? I'm going to take this off. Again, it's annoying and it's doing stuff like that, which I don't want to do. So now I can just kind of freehand the rest of the details in. Again, this black is really, really, really reduced. Like ridiculously reduced. So it works great for stuff like this. But if I wanted to like paint something black, this would take forever to get to opacity across a bigger area. And plus you run the risk of having like all kinds of blowouts and everything because it's so thin. So again, you know, I reduced for the job that I needed to do. It's not like a one reduction fits all type of thing. You know, like, oh, if you want to use black, you add this number of drops of reducer. It's not like that. Unless it's specific for a job that you're doing. Like if you want detail, I do have a ratio for that. Hey Steve, Todd is getting ready to paint on an Illumicomp panel for the first time. Any advice on the prep? Yeah, I worked the dollar bill painting. I can't talk. The dollar bill painting is on that same kind of thing. It's a aluminum panel with PVC core. You just scuff it up and then spray Autoborn sealer on it. You know, I use many coats as you can. Not as many, but, you know, 5 or 6 so you have time to... Sorry, I had to sneeze. So you want to be able to sand it in between to get it to the smoothness that you want. But that's it. Yeah, I would, like I said, I use that on everything. So whether it's aluminum panels or clayboard panels or whatever, that's the stuff. But yep, once you do that, it's good to go. That stuff is great too. That there's a bunch of different brand names for it, Alumabond and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, that stuff is great. All right, so that's all the shading on that. Just do paintbrush work, but also I have a little blowout there, real tiny blowout. Brian, thank you. That snuck up on me. I don't know what was going on there. Just if you're using erasers, keep in mind that erasers are basically like sandpaper, so you got to be careful with them. Like this is a pretty mild eraser. This is just a regular 7058. It's like a pencil eraser, white pencil eraser. So it's not very aggressive, but if I had a real aggressive eraser, I could burn down through the paint into the clayboard. And if I was real animal, I could probably get through the clayboard with a good eraser, but yeah. Yeah, so now paintbrush stuff. More paintbrush stuff. Let me do this so you can see what I'm doing over here, because this is where it gets more artistic. This one. So for the highlights, there's a couple paints that I've been using over here. It's like a yellow. This is the golden yellow again. A little bit of white with that, And then this is the burnt umber, even though it's not doing very well. So that creates this like really light yellowy tan. So that's what I was using for the highlights for this. Again, you know, it's the top of the stem, so it's pretty rough. So you just kind of do whatever you got to do. And then for the darker areas, a little bit of black again. And this just, you know, this will, again, I talk about this all the time too, you know, it's the right tool for the job. You know, the airbrush can't do super sharp edges like this unless you use a template or an adhesive mask. It's so much quicker for me to just take the paintbrush and drop that, you know, tight edge in than have to cut a mask or, you know, do some craziness or try to get like the detail brush to do that. It's just faster with the paintbrush, so we use a paintbrush. All right, so that's that. What else am I missing? We are missing the pinstripe. So before I do that, though, I'm going to grab a little bit of sealer white. Hopefully, this stuff is drying out on the cover. Come on, I just need a little bit. And sealer white dries like crazy. Like on the end of this is my little bottle, on the little ketchup top bottle. Holy crap. I mean, once that dries, it's like stone. So I'm just going to take a tiny bit of this without water in the brush. That little spot right there, which I don't know if you can see it, but it's driving me nuts. Just put a little bit of sealer on that. Patch that hole. And I'm going to let that dry. Poco, have a good night. I know it's late, brother. Thank you for dropping in. Now I'm going to dry that out, so I'm just going to use the airbrush, a little bit of air on it, because that's basically where the pinstripe is, but I'm not sure that it's going to cover that spot. So we're not going to take the chance. Brian, that's a good one. I haven't seen anyone do that. All right, there we go. So that little spot's dry. I'm pretty sure the stripe's going to cover it. So what I was hoping was going to happen was that, I was going to be able to use my ruling pen. This is used to be my Uncle Mick's ruling pen. Beautiful. It reminds me a lot of my X-Acto knife, which we turned. I don't know who turned this for him or if he just bought it this way, but it's beautiful. Tiger, probably maple. Anyway, so it's a ruling pen. If you haven't seen one of these, they're really cool. They've been around forever. They have this little dial on them, and what that dial does is it opens and closes these two prongs. And then what's neat is you dip it in ink usually, and then you run it along a ruler, which is why they call it a ruling pen, and it'll produce a line depending on, you know, thickness depending on how far those are apart. Really, really cool. So I was hoping that this is going to work for the outline with the paint, but I couldn't mess around with it enough to get the right consistency of the paint. So it didn't really work well. So I ended up going back to the paintbrush. So there you go. That's a long, involved story for that. Do you need to see this on the palette? I don't know. I'm just grabbing Pyro Red with the paintbrush. This is a size 0 paintbrush, so it's a little bit bigger than what I normally use. I usually use a 0 or a 000, 00. So there's your paint on the paintbrush. And then I need to do a straight line, so that's going to need a ruler. So just kind of carefully put this on the painting, lift it up. The front edge is lifted up a little bit so you can see it. There we go. Make sure your hand is holding the ruler steady because you don't want the ruler to slip at the last minute. Ask me how I know. And then the trick is, you know, a paintbrush can obviously produce a very varied line. You know what I mean? It's not a pencil. So the trick is once you get it started, you really try to keep it at a consistent angle. And don't, like, the tendency is what you want to do is when you use a paintbrush to get more of the paint to come out, you push it down, right? When you do that, the line gets fatter and then, you know, you screw up your pinstripe. So Pinstriping with a regular paintbrush is not ideal, although I don't know if they have a striping brush that's this small, nor could I use a striping brush that this, I can't use a regular size striping brush, so use what you're good at, I guess. And then we rinse and repeat. Now I use this ruler trick with the airbrush as well. You can airbrush. In fact, if you go back a couple weeks and look at the time lapse with the violin, I did the strings of the violin with the airbrush using the same little technique. It's fun. I need a little bit of reducer because this stuff is drying out. What do you know? Yeah, while I'm waiting for that to gelatinate. So most airbrushes have a little ridge on them somewhere, like right at the head. So that works the same way. You just kind of rest the airbrush, and then you could just run the airbrush across and do a really straight line. It takes practice, but it's worth getting that skill down, because doing a perfectly straight line with the airbrush sucks. You know, it's not easy to do because your muscles don't want to do that. So, yeah, Raymond, they might. I'm sure they do. I just don't stripe, so I don't really keep up on it. And, you know, I mean, it was nice being around Hanson all the time, because if there was anything new, you know, he would have it. But being about 600 miles away from him now, you know, I don't get to see all the cool stuff anymore. And you know, Steve Chizeka's right here too in Ohio, so I really have no excuse, but yeah. I'm sure they do. I know I have a small something around here. Well, this is just like a liner brush. It's a Kafka 5.0. But even this brush is a 5/0. And I can't do, well, I suppose I could do a line that small with it, but you know, I'm not good with bristles that are really long like this, like a rigging brush. So you know, and that's not, you know, that's only because, you know, all I use are the smaller brushes. So I'm just used to it, you know. Yeah, 000 is tiny for this brush. That one wasn't ideal. That's a little bit more natural. That's all right though. I like it. All right, so we're gonna let that dry. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. Again, because I have the sealer on this, it makes it super easy to do repairs. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Let me just dry this off. I striped, so I just bought, oh, awesome. Yeah, Raymond, let me know. Because again, like I have them, I have the regular short-handled, you know, dagger brushes. And I've seen some guys do some crazy stuff with them, including like the Kafka brushes. But again, that long bristle is not something I'm used to, so I seize up with them and I make a mess. All right, that's just about ready. So again, this has Autoborn sealer all over it, so it allows me to do really cool repairs, like right here where I kind of went over a little bit. I can just take the X-Acto blade and just kind of scrape off the red. And I know there's white paint underneath, so it comes off really, really cleanly. And if I really screw this thing up, all I got to do is, you know, fix it the other way with white. And that is that. So I think you guys can tell me if I think honey is the #1. So you guys can let me know that. I'll go back and double check before I make the final announcement online, but I'm pretty sure honey had the high bid. And then that also means that the other one will just go up for the same price. So the other one will be up for $50 if you're interested in it. So I'm going to use the Micron to sign this, the other Micron, because this thing is really, really small. This is 005, and the smallest that they make, I think. And it just does a good job at the real teeny signatures. Because it's a tiny panel, so you don't want a big clunky. And there you go. Oh, yeah, no, I got it. I was looking to see if I forgot anything, but pretty much, you know, there you go. Pair of cherries. That's it. That's all she wrote. Now, actually, that's not all she wrote. What I need to do with this, too, is now I will seal this with... where is it? With UVLS satin. So this is the same clear that I use in all the paints, except this one has a satin additive to it. So this is 4051 instead of 4050, but it's the same product. Like if I ran out of 4050, I would just grab this, you know. It's the same stuff. They just add a little bit of satin goodness to it. Same thing with the matte one. They have a matte clear that's 4050 with a matte additive. And they have a high gloss one too, which I don't know if they still make that one, but same deal. So yeah, so that I'll end up spraying this, put about 3 or 4 coats on it, and it'll seal it all up nice and it'll make it look great, and that's it. So there you go. So congratulations to Brandon. I think congratulations to Honey, yeah? I think she won. That would be cool. Again, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Schedule for this week. Time lapse is going to be the Predator for tomorrow. If you're already a member, thank you. You can go watch it now. But it'll be on tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then I will have an open studio on Wednesday night. And then I take off for New England on Thursday. So what that means, I'll be gone for the weekend. So chances are there won't be a time lapse or an open studio next week. However, I will do the live stream because I'll be driving back Monday. So I'll just drive and we'll come in and I'll paint. And I'll give a painting away too. We just won't have any new ones. So that's what the schedule looks like coming up. Thank you so much to all our new folks. You guys are awesome. Thank you all for hanging out with me. And if you have any questions I missed, just let me know. All right. Have a great week, and I will catch you guys all next week. Thanks a lot. Where's the button? That's not the button. That's the button. No, that's not the button. I don't know. Are you serious? Like, I've never done this before. I love you guys.